some sort of art
Poetry
for
or
it.
emotion.
So it's not. The other thing I'd say, I mean, I kind of missed the dream deferred.
Ah,
What happens?
Well-
or does it explode?
that's right.
Which is a more modern version. I mean, well, more contemporary. I mean, so you really still see that thing that goes way back to the 20s and 30s with the Dream Deferred, which is probably the most famous poem that everybody knows. What happens to a raisin in the sun, you know, and the Dream Deferred.
Go deeper with that.
Uh-huh.
Because you know that dream deferred is part of what's called montage to a dream deferred.
Right.
And it's, what is it, 40 poems?
Mhm.
And each poem is a verse of the montage.
Right.
And it's set to jazz music. This is the period when Langston Hughes is reading his poetry and the jazz artist, Mingus. He's reading his poetry in front of Charles Mingus's band. This is where hip hop comes. Hughes creates hip hop.
This is before Barack was doing
Yeah, this 20 years before Baraka. 20 years before Baraka.
Right.
Hughes is performing in front of a jazz band, reading his poem. Huh?
What did he look like?
Langston Hughes? Short guy, light skin.
There's actually a stamp.
Yeah, there's a stamp.
It's a postage
Yeah,
stamp.
he's about 5'6", light skinned, slim guy.
You know, the other
Just
thing.
think about that.
The other thing I would point out in the area over Harlem, and it just struck me, because I've done a lot of work on the black left in that period, in the earlier periods, particularly in Chicago, the American Negro Labor Congress. They had a newspaper called, it began in 1925 in Chicago. It's called the Negro Champion. That's right. The American Negro Labor Congress first kind of, you know, well, a little bit.
But many of their members are African blood brothers.
Right. And so their newspaper, the Negro Champion, of which I have the only copy.
Man, you gotta show that to me.
And I would bring it to you, and I just realized it. If you look at where he says, number of pages, but after the second thing, after it says Black World, and then it says air raid over Harlem and boldface, bullets through Harlem, and someday a sleeping giant waking to snatch bombs from the sky and push them, and then goes all the way down, and suddenly blah, 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 and a big black giant snatches bombs from the sky, says that again. The logo for the Negro Champion is this brother, big brother spanning the globe, a giant, this black giant, and like pulling chains apart, and he has 1 foot in Africa and another foot in the United States, and he's a giant, the black giant. And this is part of the whole left visual culture, and at the time as well. There's a whole thing going on with black artists and visual culture at the same time in this period that's powerful too. That's why I realized that's where the image comes from.
That's
It's a
good.
black guy. Because it's a powerful, there's no other logo of a newspaper like this.
Remember now, the group that comes after the American Negro Labor Council is the League of Struggle for Negro Rights.
Right.
Langston Hughes is the vice president of the League of Struggle for Negro Rights. Yeah. So he's aware of that image.
Exactly.
One thing I want to say here too, because you know I facilitate right, but let me just say something right here. Watching, this is why I say I'm gonna sit back, because the power of watching y'all exchange what just happened right here, two people, two scholars here, and you know one of the things, so we've been through this a lot in the Breakfast Club, but I'm gonna say it for people who are around and hear this too. One of the things that's been consistent in not just our community, but a lot of communities, is this lack of having your expertise, my expertise, and people coming from the street being interwoven with the expertise of scholars who have studied this and dedicated their lives to this kind of information. And see, and again, I would say that it's not common. It's not common. It's not everywhere that we have this going on here. So so we really need to value this. But I would often, even before I met these brothers, I would have relished the opportunity to be a fly on the wall to hear the conversation that I just heard is what I'm trying to say. Go ahead, Brother Gus.
Needless to say, air raid in Harlem is not something that we heard as kids when they did I grew up in black
Atlanta. Yeah.
And you didn't hear this type of poetry from Langston Hughes.
Nope.
So yeah, it wasn't until much later that I saw this poem. And what I really appreciate about the presentation is that very fact that it goes outside of the norm of the Langston Hughes mythology. It complicates his life. It talks a lot about his different, and that's something that we talked about in the past couple of weeks too, is when we take these figures, these very important figures in African American history, and we complicate them, make sure they show that how complex their ideologies were and how they shifted over time. You know, that's something that we have to do in multiple places and take it not just in here, but also in the school systems as well.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this kind of stuff we never even conceived of the idea that Langston Hughes changed over time, or Du Bois, or King.
That's right.
You know, that stuff. It just when I first was exposed to these things, Malcolm. I mean, Hughes. I mean, this stuff it blows your mind to really understand that these figures are a lot more than what we think they are. That's what I find so important about this and these speak truths. Is that it really breaks down a lot of things that are not being given elsewhere, and that's why we have to continue doing this.
That's right.
I mean, this was amazing.
It brings to life again, like you said, the complexity of all these individuals, these historical figures. But one of the things Sundiata said toward the beginning of his presentation is our experience, and you kind of said it's messed up. We have these conflicts that in ourselves that very humanizing, right? Like this is a very humanizing thing when we say we have our own conflicts in our experience.
Just to add one more thing
go ahead,
about the air raid poem, the best part about it is that he's on the ground. Like everything that he says, it's like he's right there in the midst of everything. Even though it's called air raid, like it's from the sky. Everything is on the ground. He's interacting with the people. The people speak through the poem. So I do agree with the Sundiata on that. Is that in that poem versus the other ones, it's so many players and acting out and during that poem that you can actually visualize it. So yeah, absolutely.
And I like the fact that I got something I don't understand.
Right.
But like you said, putting it in proper perspective, like not just reading a poem or a biography, letting us know what was going on at that time. Like you said, people changing, and a lot of times, Dante mentioned the discourse. The discourse that Kinala had was kind of like, instead, I didn't see it as anything bad, but I seen it as like a romancing, sort of like our historical figures. We like to romance about them, like they were only like this and they just did this, and that's what I heard. I heard, I can say that because that's my brother. So when I heard him talk, or even said talk, that's what I heard. I heard somebody that received information without proper perspective, the changing of it. Just like you said, when Hughes, you say he began to change in the sense of he was going not just with the time, but he got to a point where, because this is the thing to say, I don't know how to say it, but this is how I need to say it. And with that, historical put in perspective, like you mentioned, you mentioned Malcolm, and the history that I was always taught from people that was there, experienced that just Malcolm was a motherfucker. He was just, he was a bully, good brother, all that, but not the Malcolm that I've read. And any of the Malcolm that I've read, that's not the Malcolm that people him, and around the time, they'll tell you, they tell you about, it's like somebody, that's like every time I come to the door, I make everybody stand up. And if you never met before and you don't stand up, then now I'm at you. That was one of my first things. And years and years past, we romance and we don't try to. And I think that's what you're doing. You're letting us find out what really happened.
And and through that exchange, I think a lot of light came out of that brief exchange. I think that mutual respect happened, and that dialogue afterwards. When I approached him, he was very humble. I was like, man, we need you. We need your voice. We need your energy. And he's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Call me sir. Man, I feel old now, but it was we all go through our walks of life. We never know what's on us when we're coming in these doors. That's why it's important for us to check in and for everybody to have a voice. Hence, we had a facilitator make sure we hear from everybody. Because we need us all. We need our ladies. we need the brothers. We need our young people. We need it all. To move forward. So thank you.
Did you mention Bobby came home?
I mentioned that McKay wrote in the sonnet form, but I didn't talk about if we must die.
If we must die.
But I mean, since I mentioned it, the important thing when I think about the Harlem Renaissance, if you bracket its beginning, it's the bloody summer of 1919, right? There's 25 major race riots and white people attacking black, burning black communities. We're fighting back. And McKay writes this poem, "If We Must Die," and it is in the sonnet form, right? It's, if we must die, then let it not be like dogs, but let it be like men fighting back, da da da. So that's the beginning of the Harlem Renaissance, is McKay's poem. Right. And then the end of the Harlem Renaissance is Air Raid over Harlem. The Renaissance dies in the middle of the Depression, and Hughes' poem, I think, so we got these two poems that are bracketed, and both of them are militant, and one of them is revolutionary. In addition,
Now watch this. During the Blitzkrieg in London,
yes,
London is being bombed to hell by Nazis. Churchill, people say it's his finest moment,
that's right.
goes on the radio, calm all the British people down who are getting bombed to hell, and he reads this poem, not giving credit,
That's right.
"If We Must Die," and gives the British backbone. He's quoting a black man's poem. And Churchill was a racist and imperialist of the first order.
The first order.
And his model, his mentor was the cat who was the prime minister of South Africa. This is when he was the Home Secretary. That is when Churchill was the Home Secretary of Britain and whatnot. He was enamored with the South Africans.
That scene in Saving Private Ryan, and they're tearing London up in that car.
Yeah, that's
Y'all forgive me, when one Mark gets stabbed and the other dude sitting back watching, that's that time.
and that's that moment. And the difference between Churchill and Hitler is not this wide.
Yeah, right.
Okay, if we be honest about it. But he's reading a black man's poem to inspire his people to
Right.
resist.
If we must die.
There's irony.
Irony.
All right, y'all, it's a quarter till. I know that we had a abbreviated discussion here, but we do want to keep it tight here. So we're gonna wrap it up. And again, for the people that wasn't here, I'm gonna let them know.